Well, after a week of procrastination and killing ants with a magnifying glass, I finally got around to beating the Resident Evil 2 remake. Now, when I heard that this game was going to be re-released, I of course had some suspicions. I mean, most remakes or remasters nowadays usually make games jump to HD or give them better looking graphics, and that's it. Also, Capcom. But goddamn did they hit the nail on the fucking head here. I should disclaim that I've never played the original Resident Evil 2, so I can't really judge whether or not the remake is a faithful recreation of the original, but from what I've seen online, it apparently does a good job, so I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and say that it does a good job. The game comprises of two different campaigns where you play from the perspectives of Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield. It took me around 14 hours to beat both campaigns, which was a lot longer than I was expecting from this title, so that was a pleasant surprise. Throughout, you're going to run into a lot of characters, and their dialogue consists of the typical Resident Evil cheesiness that we've all heard before. A lot of it sounds really dumb, but I think the voice acting suffers much worse. It pretty much ranges from average to lousy. It seemed like the actors weren't given any kind of direction, which made a lot of the lines they say feel unfitting for the situations they were in. I think the worst offense here is Leon, though. I mean, at times it just sounds like he doesn't care about anything. At first it was pretty amusing, but after a while it just starts to break the immersion a bit. Not everything he said sounded bad, it's just some of his reactions didn't feel genuine or really match up to what was going on around him. Everything else, though, in terms of presentation, was astonishing. The graphics were terrific, and the lighting is pretty much on point to help build the atmosphere. The sound effects for guns and zombies felt pretty realistic, and while the AI overall wasn't super intelligent, the zombies do act like zombies, and Mr. X is a very frightening presence with the way he stalks you. I do wish that the game had a different HUD interface instead of the same exact one from Resident Evil 7, but that's more of a nitpick than an actual problem the game has. In terms of gameplay, this is exactly how classic Resident Evil should be. Zombies are slow, but they take a lot of damage before they die for good, and there's a very low amount of ammunition that you have to maintain. Being accurate is insanely important in this game, but sometimes it's better just to avoid zombies completely. For me personally, it was hard to get used to this aspect. At first, I didn't follow this rule, and it led me to dying a few times because I'm an idiot. I mean, this is not a game for people who are looking for something super fast-paced, because if you run out of ammo, you're screwed. The health that some of the zombies had, though, felt very randomized, though. One zombie I could take down in 2 or 3 shots, but others it would take an entire pistol magazine. I know this kind of thing is supposed to encourage you to be conservative with your ammo, but at times it felt like it was just a cheap way for you to completely waste your bullets. Killing any enemy in this game, though, is very satisfying. I mean, it's a lot of fun to blow off limbs and heads, and the gore system is pretty awesome. I also really liked the mechanic where you could use your knife to break free from an enemy's grasp without taking any damage, but you'd lose the knife unless you got it back from the same zombie you stabbed. Plus, the knife also has a certain amount of times you can use it before it breaks and you'll have to find a new one, which was kinda scary, but it all depends on how well you play, so you might not have to use it at all. Sometimes, though, it is just better to take some damage. It's very important in this game that you maintain the items you're carrying. You can give yourself more space to carry more items with you, but you can also put things in a storage container at safe points to grab them for later. Besides battling the undead and the freakish dogs from hell, the other bit of gameplay will be solving puzzles. I really don't have anything to say about them, besides the fact that in classic Resident Evil style, the puzzles don't really make any sense. My biggest issue with the gameplay, though, are the times where you're running around and you don't have any clue what you need to do. There are a few points in the game where you're going to be running around without any clue of where exactly you have to go, and while these sections are far and few between, I've never really found backtracking to be fun in a video game. Besides a few funny ragdolls, the game is very polished, and I didn't encounter any bugs. The game holds itself together very well. I don't have any complaints in regards to frame rate or slowdown. They do have DLC to include the soundtrack from the original game, but you have to pay for that, which I think is really dumb. I feel like that should be a feature, not something you have to pay an extra $2.99 for.
Get down!
Despite my issues with the game, I really enjoyed this remake. It's got some issues for sure, but I guarantee you that the good far outweighs the bad. It's fun, it's spooky. I mean, I honestly believe any fan of Resident Evil is going to enjoy this title. I give Resident Evil 2 Remake an 8 out of 10.